Hey there YouTube, JCM45 here, coming at you with yet another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the Walmart exclusive NECA Toys Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones, and Raphael in Disguise 2-pack. Before we look at the figures themselves, let's take a quick look at the packaging. Here we have a nice window display showing off Raphael and Casey Jones. You have all their accessories displayed nicely there as well. On the front of the box, you also have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo from the 1990s movies. You have a Nickelodeon logo, Casey Jones, Raphael in Disguise, as well as a nice little promo shot of the Turtles themselves. If you flip it over to the side there, you got a quick couple promo shots of Casey. Flip it to the back. You've got more promo shots of Casey Jones and Raphael in Disguise. You have a nice picture of the Turtles, as well as a little bio. Flip it over to the other side, you get some other promotional shots of Raphael in his trench coat. Flip it to the top, and you have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo, NECA logo, ages 14 and up, and a warning. And then you flip it on the bottom, and you have some more legal stuff, as well as your UPC. So now that we took a look at the packaging, let's look at the figures. Okay, now that I got these guys out of the packaging, let's take a closer look. And I know everyone's going to be more interested in Casey, so we'll start out with him. We'll take a quick look at Casey's head sculpt up here, and as you can see, the mask and hair detail is sculpted in very nicely. He looks very good. I'm not sure if you can see it with this lighting or not, but there is sculpted and painted detail under the mask there of the actor's actual face. Let me cut to a quick picture here. That's actually what the actor's face it looks like under the mask. Someone else pried it off. I found this on Instagram. And originally the figure was supposed to include an alternate head without the mask. However, the actor did not want to use his likeness on a figure. I have read, though, he has since maybe changed his mind, so possibly we'll see something new. But as of this figure here, we only have just the masked head. And taking a look, the mask is sculpted and painted quite nicely. It's got a nice sheen there, as you can see. The hair is also sculpted and painted nicely. You've got some great detail there. You got the mask straps, flipping them back around. We'll go down to his torso, and you can see his dirty shirt there, as well as his denim jacket. Both are a soft plastic. And the white shirt has some nice dirt marks, just like in the movie, and it's great. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is some hair detail there on his chest. That's great. The denim jacket does have a slight wash to it, I believe. It's to make the detail pop. It's a gray wash, I want to say. And it looks really good. I think they sculpted it really nicely and painted it really well. Moving on down to his arms, his bare arms there are just a bare plastic, or a bare skin color there. And we move down to his fists that are included on the figure out of the box. And you have his fingerless gloves. Moving on over to his sweatpants, those are also sculpted and painted nicely. I don't know if you can see it, but I do have a small blotch there on the left leg there. But that is what it is, it's not a big deal. And they are sculpted very nicely. I don't think there's a wash really on the pants to bring out the detail. There might be. There might be a dark gray wash there on the bottom in some spots. But it looks really nice. And then you go down to the boots. He's got his white socks on there. And his black combat boots, which you can see have a nice gray paint job to kind of scuff them up and make them look more realistic. And so that is Casey. So let's take a look at Raphael. And here's the second figure that is included in this 2-pack, Raphael in his trench coat disguise. Now this is a complete reissue of the original Raphael 1990s Turtle release that was released originally at SDCC a couple years ago, was released at GameStop after that, and is now since being re-released in a 2-pack at Walmart in the next, I want to say, couple of weeks here. So this is one way to get a spare Raphael if you want, but the real kicker here is the soft goods trench coat that looks absolutely fantastic. We'll compare. I'll take the trench coat off. It does come off completely, as does the hat, and it's actually pretty easy to remove and put back on, so that's nice. I might end up using it for some pictures with some other figures, so we'll see how that goes. But the trench coat is very nicely done, as well as the removable hat, which is very cool. So it is, like I said, it is just a standard figure or a standard re-release of that same Raphael. I have the original GameStop release, which we will compare that to. I'll take the coat off and we'll compare them in a little bit. But we'll take a look here at the trench coat. First, we'll look at Raphael's head. If you've gotten the original release, you know what you're getting with his face there. He's gritting his teeth. He looks angry. He looks awesome. The kicker here is, like I said, the hat, and it is secured on there nicely. There is a cutout in the bottom or on the top of the hat there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there you go. For the bandana tie or the mask tie there, and that is what secures the hat on his head. As you can see, it is secured on there pretty well. It is not coming off, which is great. So head looks good and the hat looks awesome. You can kind of finagle it into whatever kind of position you want it in, have it looking maybe down a little bit, maybe kick it back if you want to have his face showing a little bit more, however you want it. Going down to the coat here, this is very nicely done. So these are actual plastic buttons that are sewn on. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, because let's face it, they're super tiny, and if these were actual holes there that you could actually button up, that would be kind of a pain in the butt. So they're not real buttons, they're just plastic ones that are sewn on. In fact, the ones aren't even attached, so you can take the whole thing off. As you can see, they're just attached to this side here. But it is nicely sewn. It sits really well on Raph, and it just looks great. The belt does come completely out, as you can see. I have it kind of stuffed in there, and it does come apart as well. The backpack as well comes off. It is a kind of a softer material, so the straps are flexible. Just be careful. I wouldn't want to stress these points here that connect the straps to the backpack when you're actually removing it, if you do decide to remove the backpack from the figure. But there it is. And then you go down here, you see the tailoring on the arms is nicely done. I do have a stray thread here that I'm gonna have to remove, but that's okay, no big deal. And then going down a little bit further, you have the pockets. Those are actual pockets. I'm not quite sure how deep they go, but they are actual pockets. That's really cool. And then going on down, you just have his normal little turtle legs there. And so that's a closer look at Raphael. Okay, so let's go over articulation. I'm not going to really get into the articulation for Raphael. That figure has been reviewed dozens of times, dozens upon dozens of times at this point. So I'll just skip that. We don't really need to see that again. If you want to look it up, you can look up any of the 1990 movie Turtles. So let's go over Casey. First off, we'll take a look at his head. It is on a ball joint, it seems. He can look up only about that far due to the hair sculpt. It gets in the way. There's nothing you can really do about it with long hair. They could have maybe made it a softer material, but it is what it is. He can look down that far, so he does bury the chin quite well. He can turn his head 360 degrees. And he does have some slight tilt, not a lot. Moving on down to the arms, they hinge out about that far. They do rotate fully 360 degrees, and he does have a double ball joint, or excuse me, a double elbow joint that can bend quite far, which is very nice. There is no bicep swivel, and you can see the joint is kind of designed a little strangely. It does kind of look a little weird, especially when you bend it all the way, but it does swivel at the top, and it actually does swivel at the bottom as well. I don't know if it's intended to swivel at the bottom, but it does. So that's kind of cool. And then his fists here are on a hinge and swivel system. Now, he does have some torso articulation. It's hidden by this soft plastic shirt. He can bend about that far down, which is all right. You can't really get too much because of the shirt. He does bend back about that, and no real wobble. He can turn a little bit side to side. He's got, I'm not sure if it's waist or if it's in the torso. I think it's waist there, but he can rotate a little bit, not a lot because of the shirt. And then moving on down to his legs, he can kick out about that far. He can only kick back about that far because of his butt. He kind of gets in the way. He spreads about there, not too bad. I've seen worse. And then he has a single jointed knee in order to prevent that sculpt from breaking up. That can only kick to about 90 degrees. And then he does have ankles that can kick back about that far. Mine are really tight. I don't really want to mess with them that much more than that, so that's about as far as they're going. They can kick forward about that far, and then they do rotate just a little bit, and that's also tight. I think they're on a forward-facing pin. Yeah, they are for a little bit of rocker, but I don't want to mess with that too much because I'm afraid of breaking it. NECA has a notorious little track record there for not necessarily the best quality joints sometimes. And that's the articulation on Casey. Alright, let's take a look at accessories. And we have quite a bit to go through, if you can see, so let's get started. We'll take a look at Casey's accessories first. He comes with an additional 6 hands, 2 pairs of, or actually, yeah, 2 different pairs of grip hands. He has a set of looser grip hands, so he can grip his hockey stick, his baseball bat, and his other larger pieces of gear. And then he's got smaller grip hands that are lit with a little bit tighter fit for his golf club. Sorry, couldn't think of what it was for a second. He also has a pointing hand, as well as a relaxed or a come at me hand, kind of come at me, yeah. That's pretty cool. Oop. He also comes with a bag for his stuff. It's a softer plastic, so it does kind of swish a little bit. Everything does fit in there. I will put everything in there here in a little bit. And it's got some nice brown detail there, nicely painted, and it's got a nice soft plastic strap that allows you to put it on Casey. He's got his goalie stick, which is nicely painted and nicely sculpted. You can see the printing on there. You can see the various pieces of tape. Very nicely done. Got a regular hockey stick with black tape. Did a very nice job on that as well. You got the cricket bat. Got to represent the Brits on the other side of the pond. Got two baseball bats. They're the same. There's no real difference. And then you have his golf club, which is, not gonna lie, a little flimsy. I do be careful with this one because I am kind of afraid of breaking it, so be very careful. It's nicely painted though. So that does it for Casey's stuff. Moving on down to Raphael, he comes with an additional 2 pairs of hands. He comes with 2 2 flat hands there. Just kind of flat open hands. And then 2 middle finger up yours hands, which is pretty hilarious. He also comes with his sai, which are the same sai that he came with originally. Also comes with a slice of pizza. Comes with his hat, As you can see, there's the cutout for the tie. It allows it to secure in place. It is painted and sculpted very nicely. Oop. And then he also comes with the 2 different ties that he originally came with for his mask, one for each side. It's quite nice. And then they also included the new tie that is in the new 2-pack that you can get at Walmart. So you do have this, which is very nice. I'm glad they included that too. And then finally you have his trench coat and his backpack. And we took a look at the trench coat already. And then we'll take a closer look at the backpack. Like I said, originally it's a softer material, but it is nicely painted and nicely detailed. You got some gray and silver there on the buckles, a nice green there. And so those are the accessories. Okay, so let's take a quick comparison of the GameStop release versus the Raphael in Disguise release. So right here on the right with the sai and the ties on both sides is going to be the GameStop release that I originally received. I went and I threw the new tie on there to make it a little bit more dynamic with my other turtles. And then we've got the Raphael in Disguise without his trench coat and stuff here on the left. As you can see, the new release of Raph has a little bit more vibrant of a paint job. The shell's a little bit brighter. The green looks a little bit different. It doesn't look like they have as much of a wash or as much detailing on the new figure as they do on the original. You can see on the legs that his muscles are a little bit more defined on the old one versus the new one. Rotating them around, I can also tell that the spots on his head seem to be a little bit more pronounced on the GameStop release as opposed to the new Walmart release. The shell's also a little bit duller on the new one, I want to say. Yeah, so there are some differences there in paint between the GameStop release and the Raphael in Disguise. And I mean, it kind of makes sense. I don't know how much they were expecting anyone to be really comparing or looking at the new figure here without his trench coat on, but yeah. So those are the differences. Otherwise, they're exactly the same. So, there you go. Okay, here's some size comparisons. We've got Casey here with a couple other figures from this line. We've got a Foot Soldier, Splinter, and Shredder. Casey's looking pretty tall there. Quite surprised, actually, that he's taller than Shredder there, even with Shredder's helmet on. But I'm not quite sure how accurate that is to the movie. I always imagined Shredder as kind of a taller dude, but I could be wrong. I don't know. So that's how they look that's how Casey looks with a couple other figures from that line. Not going to really compare the Turtles. We've seen the Turtles with everyone. We've seen how tall Raphael is with Casey earlier, so we're fine there. So we'll skip that. And then for reference, here is a Marvel Legends Bucky cap mold, as well as a Black Series Stormtrooper. As you can see, Casey's a bit taller than both of them, but NECA stuff has always been kind of its own 7-inch scale, so that's okay. And so that's my review on the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones, and Raphael in Disguise 2-pack. And I gotta say, I really enjoy both figures. I think they're really good. Yeah, Raphael is just a straight-up re-release of the existing Raphael that they put out a couple times now, and that they're putting out again in the upcoming 2-packs. But I think the trench coat, hat, and backpack really help justify throwing him in there. They just did such a good job with those accessories, and they look great. And the fact that the trench coat can come off so easily and there's no issues there, I think they did a really good job with the soft goods and his accessories. And Casey speaks for himself, really. He's a great figure. He's got great accessories. He's got everything you want. Great detail, great sculpting. The only thing I could really ask for is that unmasked head. And unfortunately, That seems like it was just tied up in likeness rights and stuff like that. So hopefully NECA and the actor have sorted that out, and maybe we'll receive that unmasked head some other way. So those are my thoughts. I really like them. This is a Walmart exclusive, so it is coming out right now. So head on out to your local Walmart. Check your NECA section. That's going to be over by the electronics. It's not going to be in your regular toy aisles with your Marvel Legends and Star Wars Black Series stuff. So head over by the DVDs and other electronics, and you should find the NECA and Funkos and other collectible stuff there. So hopefully you'll find them there. I was lucky enough to score my set online when it was up for all of a minute, if that. I had a couple check for change apps and stuff like that running, and fortunately one of them managed to catch it when it went in stock, and I managed to throw it in my cart and get it going, so I lucked out there. But hopefully you guys will be able to track this set down in the wild, and happy hunting. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Like, comment, subscribe, do your thing, and have a good one.